Oh, hello Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards. Use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And a 10 of Cups. Well, you get all of the water energy. This is wonderful. This is about the fullness of life, right? This is about, finally feeling satisfied with everything. That there's kind of this feeling that I wouldn't change anything about the world right now. This is telling me that you are, you have a lot of love to give people. Yeah, you care very much about other people. And I feel that, like, some ways in you, it's almost like you can't fully enjoy life if anyone that you care about is really suffering, you're going to be there for them. Because that's something that you feel very strongly about, is when you have an excess of something, to give to the people that you care about, to lift them up further, This feels really, really good. I think that you've got a really good thing going in your life. I feel that you are striving for this feeling of fullness. I kind of feel that you're just in such a great mood lately. And I don't think it always feels like this. I think sometimes it's kind of, we're striving for this, that we feel that something's missing, and we're hungry for more, and we're working on expanding our life and pursuing those things that will bring us this 10 of Cups, I wonder too, if it kind of in your life, if it feels that maybe there are too many cups, that there's too much going on, and it's kind of hard to keep them all full sometimes. Like, it feels like you're really working at it. When your life gets bigger, it expands, right? Maybe your family's getting bigger, your job stuff's getting bigger, more friends. It's just a lot of things are going on, right? A lot of different compartments of life. It feels like we're very busy to keep all of these different areas of our life satisfied and full and productive and successful, and really feeling good about all of them. We don't want to put so much attention on one area that then we realize, our friendships have started to kind of trail off, or my work stuff, I haven't been paying enough attention at work, and so work's kind of a little bit, this is kind of a perfection that maybe we can't really ever attain. Maybe we don't really want to, right? Generally in life, to have everything that just is kind of perfect, and then we're running around like topping everything off. It's like when you're in a restaurant and the server's coming over and just like, topping your coffee, and just running around making sure every cup is full. It's sort of in a way prevents you from really enjoying it, because now we're so worried about maintaining all of this stuff, that we have, whether it's the career, job stuff, family relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, your own creative projects, your own spiritual work. I mean, it feels there's a lot. Okay? And I think sometimes we get overwhelmed. Yeah. This is supposed to be your dream come true, right? It's supposed to be your dream come true. This is a card sometimes says, be careful what you wish for, right? And it's kind of a card even that says, like, well, this is what you asked for, right? But maybe we're seeing things in a different light. Now, I want to put this card into some context, okay? This is a very good card. This is kind of the dream happiness, the sort of picture perfect life that we want, Okay, but what does that look like for you? What is the picture perfect life? I got a 9 of Swords here. You have 5 of Wands and 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, and the Fool. I almost feel that, yes, you're kind of seeing this sort of, maybe this is sort of the dream life, the picture perfect life. I kind of think that it's gosh, how do I even phrase that? It feels like it's not what you thought it was. It feels like this should be a blessing. The 10 of Cups, it's a blessing, right? Why are we feeling that it's a curse, right? It's kind of, you got everything that you wished for, but it doesn't quite feel right, okay? And the rest of these cards maybe are sort of pointing us to a Fool. Let's see. We got the 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands here now. 10 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, and a 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups is kind of like having a really good day, right? First thing I want to point out is that the Fool is our only major arcana energy. And the Fool is kind of a card that is just sort of letting go of expectations, letting go of every care, concern, and worry, starting maybe a new path, transcending, starting from scratch, sort of just like walking away and going on a quest, going on an adventure, going walkabout, right? Just sort of, in a way, almost leaving everything behind and just going. Okay, but before we go, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down over here and put Frankenduck right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, all right? But it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it down in the comments, all right? Let's do it together as a group exercise. All right, let's look around the room. One major arcana card. This is it. This is what it centers on, and maybe it even is this idea of, a choice. Do we keep working on something that feels right now it's kind of more. It's more work than it is pleasure. It's more pain than it is pleasure, right? Or it's kind of something like this was supposed to be a blessing, but now you kind of feel cursed with it. This is kind of like your wish came true, but now it's kind of, it almost feels like there's some sort of a catch-22. Maybe the question is, do we stay and work on this? Do we fight for this? Do we fix it? Do we struggle with this, or do we move on? How in this situation can we act wisely and not foolishly? Is it foolish to stay? Is it foolish to go? Is it wise to go, right? So that's our sort of question. Which side is the Fool landing on? Folly or wisdom? We've got, of course, our fire energy, 1, 2, 3 fire cards. We've got water energy in the 10 and the 6. And I think the 10 and the 6 really show kind of what you're hoping to change in this. What you kind of want to be different, how this could actually be the right thing. The 10 of Cups, we think, is a very perfect card. Yes, so why are you lamenting? Why are you in such despair right now? Okay, and I think it's because the 10 of Cups is overwhelming. It's too much, and it takes too much to maintain it. What you're looking for is a little bit more tranquility, a little bit more ease. The 6 of Cups is perfect. It's flow, it's harmony, it's connection, it's beauty. This is saying, I just want a good, easy day. Maybe this is like a life that's really full. All of your desires are there to be satisfied, but maybe it's just way too much responsibility. Maybe it's way too much attention that it takes, too much effort, too much time, too much mental, emotional, and spiritual energy that goes into maintaining this kind of life. And so I feel like we're sort of in a, I don't know, Spirit's kind of telling me that you're feeling trapped in a way right now. Yeah. So we've got our fire, we've got our water, we've got some air, and of course we have our our earth energies. And I feel like the Eight of Pentacles back here was maybe a simpler time in your life. Yeah. A time where there were sort of maybe less responsibilities. But maybe this was also a time in your life where you were able to just focus on yourself and kind of slowly, it feels like a different time. Feels like it was a slower time. Maybe it was a time where you sort of lived alone, and you were just able to kind of have a slower pace, and slowly build up your life and nurture your life and just had maybe simpler expectations, had smaller sort of desires, it just feels like a smaller, simpler time. Okay. A time of growth, maybe more personal, spiritual growth. Maybe now it feels like there's not enough time for spiritual growth because all your activities is put into maintaining what should be on paper as kind of this perfect life. It's kind of like if this were in a magazine, everybody would be fawning over it. Oh, that's the life I want. Well, you've got that, and you're saying, hey, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Okay. I want to do an I Ching hexagram for the Fool. The Fool is always on the cusp of wisdom and folly. We never know which side of it they're sort of landing on, right? The Fool is sort of in search of an identity, I think. Yeah. Let's see what the I Ching has. Pushing upward, creating success from the source. Make use of seeing great people. Okay. Do not worry. Set forth to the south. Good fortune. The south is the land of the sort of the noon sun, right? The warmth, the heat, the light, the creativity. A vigorous, active time. Involve the source of inspiration in your work. Seeing great people, whether in the flesh or with your inner vision, can charge you with the energy to begin your ascent. Hard work lies ahead, but worry not. Set out toward warmth, light, and activity. Is there something you can commit yourself to? Where might it take you? And what is the next step? Pushing upward. Pushing upward. Well, pushing upward reminds me of the Eight of Pentacles, of course, because there's this idea of this tree, this thing sprouting and growing, right? That maybe we're trying to get back to our self-development, our work, right? The work, the spiritual work, that spiritual development. Whereas you're kind of right now feeling, I am getting the impression, feeling kind of trapped or stuck in this Ten of Cups. And I know that sounds absurd, almost suffering. What should be intensely pleasurable, right? It seems like it's more painful than it is pleasurable for you. Okay. Spirit's telling me that you have military people in your family. I don't know if you were military, but family members were military. Yeah, I don't know if that's kind of a major thing in your life or it's a big focus. Let's talk about the Nine of Swords. I don't like to talk about it. It's not the most fun card, but I think it's important that we realize that, hey, this feels in some ways almost, worse than it does, it feels bad more than it feels good. Okay. We have this 10 of cups, right? Should be wonderful. 9 out of 10 of those cups are nasty water, right? Flat soda, flat warm soda pop, right? Not fit for drinking. Yeah. So it may look good, it may seem good. From the outside, it may be, oh, I want that. But from the inside, from actually being there, it seems as if there are more things that you dislike about it than the things you do like about it. Now, I don't know if we're talking about a particular relationship. We might be, because of the 10 of Wands. We might be talking about a relationship with a romantic partner, a friend, a family member. We might be talking about a relationship with your job, your employment, or your engagements, right? What you're associating with. Maybe you're retired, right? Whatever you are whatever life you're leading right now, okay? And whatever activities that sort of involves, okay? It feels like from the outside, people are sort of envious of you. They think, man, you got the best life, But here you are, 9 of Swords, kind of suffering through it and thinking, something's got to change. There's so much effort, so much work being put into this, but there's not really a lot coming out of it for you, okay? I think you're missing the opportunity to continue your self-work and your growth. The Five of Wands down beneath the surface, I feel like you are more frustrated with things than you usually are. I feel that this is kind of you trying to maintain a sort of amicable relations. I feel like you're sort of always on the cusp of losing your temper. Yeah, I feel like you've got a lot of fight in you. You've got a lot of energy. You're a hard worker. You have ambitions. You have force and fire in you. But I feel like it sort of comes out in the wrong places. It comes out as sort of almost like a little mini tower moment of frustration, rather than this energy being put toward creative, constructive work, self-work and, creating a life that is meaningful for you. Okay. So the Five of Wands shows that you're very much capable of making changes in your life. You're very, very strong, very active. You got a lot of energy. You got a lot of vitality left in you, Even if you're retired, even if you think you're old, right? You've got a youth about you. You've got a young energy in you that wants to come out, okay? But I think it's sort of, it comes out in the wrong ways at the wrong times, like little mini tower moments of frustration, of anger, of conflict and friction. The Eight of Pentacles in the previous position, I think is that, like I said, that simpler time of life. This may be a time in your life when you had a little bit more patience, And I think that this is, while it does represent a simpler time in your life, right? I think this is also sort of at the beginning of this, whatever this situation is that you're in now, if it's a relationship, if it's a business, if it's your employment, if it's your friend group, if it's a romance or a family thing, whatever. When this first started, I think you had a lot of hopes. I think you kind of felt like this could be great, Maybe it started out as sort of a little fixer-upper, right? And maybe we're talking about real estate, something like that. Okay, could be. We do have the earth energy to sort of suggest that. Yeah. And maybe we had our eyes kind of looking at this Ten of Cups thinking, wow, yeah, this thing with the right attention, with the right sunlight, with the right water, new coat of paint, it could be, oh my God, amazing, right? But it's kind of what's that movie, Chevy Chase, Money Trap? Is that what it's called? Is that what I'm thinking? I think it is, yeah, Money Trap. It could be just the most wonderful thing. We think, yeah, just a new coat of paint, maybe mowing the lawn a little bit. It's perfect. Absolutely wonderful, this thing. But then you get involved, you get there, you move in. You start doing it, and it's 9 of Swords. It's just wound after wound after wound after wound. Yeah. Until really we end up in that three of Swords, where we're sort of longing for the days gone by, where we kind of really miss what came before, that simpler life, even if it was a life that, obviously we entered into this situation thinking it was going to be so much better. This is us really wishing we had stayed where we were before. And I think that with this, there's kind of even a little bit of guilt in that, It's kind of like we feel bad for feeling bad. To me, this card always reminds me of when people, I'm sure maybe you've heard this when you were growing up, but if you're sort of complaining about your life, or you have gripes about things, and somebody tells you, well, hey, it could always be worse, or think of people in other countries who are starving right now, there's always somebody that has it worse than you. Just think about that, and I never really agreed with that, because then I feel like, okay, well, not only do I feel bad for my whatever situation I'm in my life, but now I feel guilty for feeling bad. Thank you very much for doing that. It's kind of like just piling on, like just doubled it up now. And not to say that whatever you're going through is the worst thing that anybody on planet Earth has ever endured. There's always somebody that has it worse than you, okay? And that's kind of a given. But it doesn't take away from the significance of how you feel right now. And you shouldn't be feeling guilty for how you feel right now. You should be working on ways to sort of to change that, to either modify your behavior or your expectations, adapt to the circumstances, or change your circumstances so that you can get that actual feeling of love and pleasure and bliss and satisfaction, the actually feeling good about things, the pleasure. This is sort of pleasure promised or imagined or set up as the ideal, thinking, this could be the perfect home. It just needs a little bit of paint, right? But it's just, wrong one. It's just a disaster. It's misery after misery after misery. It's the money trap, right? What we really want is to say, hey, this has been such a good day. I love it here. I'm enjoying the house. And maybe it's not perfect, right? Maybe it isn't going to be that 10 of Cups perfect place, but you're actually enjoying it. So it's kind of like understanding how much effort we're putting into to achieve a goal, but we're kind of hating it every step of the way. Whereas if we just say, I don't care about that sort of perfection, I just want to enjoy my day. I just want to enjoy the time that we're here together, right? It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but it has to be like tranquil and harmonious. You have to be able to resonate with the moment, And of course, that 3 of Swords is kind of saying, I'd rather just be back where I was than suffering so in this current situation. Okay, and then I do think that there's kind of somebody that's sort of piling on and maybe making it worse by saying, well, it could be worse. There are people that have it a lot worse. Maybe you should count your blessings, counting our blessings is good. Let's do that. Let's think of the positive things, sure. But don't feel guilty for having the emotions that you're having right now. Don't feel guilty for feeling as if you want your life to get better. Just because somebody else has it worse than you doesn't mean that you should then accept your circumstances and sink further into misery. Okay? And I really have an issue with that, as you can tell. But all this is leading us to the Fool. And the Fool is either going to embark upon a new journey, return to where it has come, return to what came before this, or move on to a different place, that sort of thing. Or maybe this is us sort of transcending the need that we maybe had, or the expectation that said, I've got to make this thing perfect. We see the house, we say, it needs some paint, it needs some... it literally is the money trap movie. I don't know if you've seen that movie. I think that's what it's called. They buy a farm kind of thing or whatever, and it's just, they have such expectations that this is going to be the best thing that they've ever done, and it's just one disaster after disaster after disaster after disaster. And at the end of the movie, I don't want to spoil it, but it's kind of like they just sort of accept the way things are, and they don't try to change they don't try to make it perfect. They don't try to impose their will on things. They sort of learn to appreciate the idiosyncrasies of their new house and their new community and that sort of thing. And so it's really not about accepting the miserable circumstances and just somehow adapting to it and making it okay. What happened in the movie is that they actually kind of started to fit in. and they enjoyed it for what it was. Okay, and I think that's kind of the Fool. The Fool is just like trying to have the experience of novel. The Fool doesn't impose its view on anything, and the Fool is not really all that much changed by what it experiences either. So the Fool's kind of everything's new, everything's novel, and everything is sort of appreciated for what it is, good or bad, and then it's sort of, it keeps moving on, right? But this could really be a shift in perspective for you. Going from trying to create something absolutely perfect and suffering every day of your life to create that, or learning to enjoy the moment of what this is. Now, if you haven't seen the Money Trap, I think it's Money Trap. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's the Funny Farm. Is it Funny? No, I think it's Money Trap. If you haven't watched that movie, try to watch it because it really illustrates the kind of the Fool aspect of this. But if you're not enjoying this process, if it is that miserable, something does have to change. And maybe it is literally you having to sort of go back somewhere, go back to sort of where you came from, right? Or learning to appreciate this situation in a different way. But if it is this painful of a situation, if it is this miserable and you're in this despair, don't feel like you have to learn to like it. Okay, that's not what we're saying at all. All right. Let's talk about the path of the serpent, though. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything, and it helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate that. All right, thank you very, very much. The general energy is the Eight of Wands. Now, I think the Eight of Wands is kind of this idea that, I don't care where I go, but I know I can't stay here. It's sort of this anxiety that you feel, and I think right now you might be rather full of anxiety, okay? Because this is kind of like, you got this energy, you got the jazz hands, you're tap dancing on the shag carpet. You need to do something, but there's nothing really there's nothing to do, or it's kind of the idea that anything you start to do sort of isn't the right thing, so you go back to where you started, back to the middle, and you say, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to do this. No, that's not working. And we end up just sort of spinning our wheels and driving ourselves nuts and experiencing a lot of anxiety. Okay? Anxiety is this sort of alarm system in our psyche that tells us that there's some sort of danger and that we need to do something about it, right? But it's kind of like, what really is the immediate danger? And if maybe it's sort of an abstract danger, right? What are we supposed to do about that, right? What are we supposed to do in response to an abstract kind of, maybe even a theoretical kind of threat, right? So there's a lot of anxiety about this situation for you, not knowing really how to alleviate that. It's like your psyche, your body is sending you these alarm signals, but it's just, I don't know what they mean. I don't know what it's supposed to tell you, I think in some way this is getting away from the situation in order to calm down. Okay. If you're feeling this kind of anxiety, the best thing to do is to extricate yourself from that environment so that that alarm system, like you can figure out how to turn the alarm off. You don't want to just stand there and have the alarm sounding. You want to figure out, you want to go somewhere and try to turn it off, Even if it's just sort of stepping outside for a while, or going and visiting friends or family, something like this. Going for a walk, going to the park. Do something to sort of to get you out of that anxiety. Okay, because when we're in this mode, it's really difficult to think clearly and to have a plan and to really kind of be able to understand what the next move should be. Okay, this is sort of this is one of those like automatic responses. We're kind of in fight or flight mode, and we don't know exactly what we're fighting against or fleeing from. Okay, so we have to let this feeling sort of pass before we can get a good plan. Because you know what else? We don't see a lot of productive air energy here. We don't see any sort of planning air energy. Okay. You know, I don't know why, but I feel like the check engine light in your car's been on for a long time. Is that true? I feel like I kind of am getting that like warning light kind of coming on. And maybe literally that's something that's been happening to you, or it's going to. And I think you can use that as sort of a synchronicity to remind you of this feeling that, yeah, there is something going on. There is something that needs attention. Okay? And maybe we don't really know exactly what, because the thing about anxiety is that it's hard to pinpoint the cause of it. The alarm system's going off, but it's like, what is it alerting me to? You know? In the environment, we've got a Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands, I think, is talking about another person that's involved in this with you. And I think that they've been, or you've been feeling as if they don't really do enough and all the responsibilities on you. It's supposed to be a partnership, but it seems like you're the one that's sort of responsible for everything. And I don't know if that means financially, or if that means like there's just a laundry list of things that you've got to do, and there's not enough time in the day for you to do it. Or everything that you try to do, there seems to be this kind of, I almost feel like everything that you try to do, there's kind of there's an obstacle to it, right? Like you have this laundry list of things you have to try to complete and things that you have to maybe maintain. That Ten of Cups, we're working toward that. And every step of the way, it feels like somebody's kind of just like sabotaging you, but they're not doing it on purpose. It's just they happen to always be like standing right where you need to walk, you know? Or every time you're carrying a bunch of stuff and they just happen to be coming the other way and bump into you. And it's just kind of always in your way, you know? And so it's frustrating, I think, for you to be in a team situation right now, because I feel like it's kind of it just seems like there's like just nothing is going right in this team. Yeah, it kind of feels as if you would be better off taking care of things yourself. You know, but it's in this situation. I don't know if that's possible. Or I don't know if there's a way to sort of divide things up. You stay on that side of the house, I'll stay on this side of the house. I don't know, maybe you are literally moving houses. There could be some sort of a big move here. You could be packing or unpacking boxes, moving furniture. And it's just kind of, you'd rather just stay in your zone and do your thing than have to always be bumping into somebody else. Yeah, and I don't know if it's a friend, a family member. This could be something going on at work, right? The obstacle here is for you to see that any progress is being made at all. Okay, when you're especially when we're in a Nine of Swords and an Eight of Wands, and we've got that kind of anxiety where every moment kind of hurts and our skin's just kind of crawling, it's really difficult to see that anything good is happening at all. And even if you've been intensely busy, I think it's not apparent to you that things are getting better. Things are happening. Things are getting done. I don't think it feels that way at all. I think it feels like we're not seeing really any progress whatsoever. Okay, with the Nine of Pentacles is the card of gain, right? It's the card of kind of well, it's different than the 10, right? Because the 9 is an active card. It's a verb. It's an odd number, right? It's a function rather than a state of things. This is the state of perfection, dream come true, right? This is you sort of working on the dream. This is you putting in the effort and seeing the results and checking things off your laundry list, maybe sometimes faster, sometimes slower, but you're able to recognize the progress. And you can see with the 9, this is Venus in Virgo, right? This is you being able to see like, wow, things are coming together. Things are happening. It may be slow, may be frustrating, may be downright painful at times, but hey, things are coming together, you know? It's the progress that we want to see. Okay, right now I think it's difficult for you to see that things are getting better in any way. But what's coming after here, for that Six of Cups, that's harmony, that's beauty, that's you getting along with everybody. This is you having a really, really good day, a very easy day. And maybe this is the reward, you know? Maybe all of this hard work, all of this suffering, and then you get like just a day of perfection, a day to just sit on the porch and drink some sweet tea, you know? It just feels really, really good. This is a sense of community. This is a sense of family. And maybe this makes it all worth it, right? Maybe what we see is really the Fool saying, this ain't it. I need to go in this different route to get this feeling, to feel like I really belong, to feel this sense of calm. This is the opposite of anxiety, right? The Six of Cups. This is like, I don't feel any tension at all. I don't feel any like sort of electrical shocks in any of my nerves. I'm peaceful. I'm calm. I mean, this is relaxation. Okay. And I think it really is up to the Fool, your interpretation of this Fool and of the situation itself, how to go about getting that. Is it possible in this situation, if you change your perception of the Ten of Cups, that it's something that this is what you might be striving toward, but not at the expense of your well-being? Okay, that if we're able to pay attention to the progress that we are making and do something about this sort of this teammate that you have, then maybe we could experience more days like the Six of Cups here. Maybe this is a situation that's unwinnable. It's totally untenable, so the Fool is going in a different direction. Yeah. Let's look at this mystery card. I know the video is getting pretty long. I would like to see... I kind of feel like it's going to be an ace, but I'd rather see a Nine of Cups than an ace. Right? Because the ace to me is going to say we're taking a new step somewhere else, that we're doing the first thing to go in a different direction, right? That the Fool is decided and has taken a step. Okay. But the Nine to me would kind of seem like, hey, we're still working on this and it's feeling better. We're recognizing the beauty and the joy and we're working toward our happiness, you know? And we're getting closer. Maybe we'll get another Six. Okay, could be. Let's see what we have. Another Ten of Cups. Maybe this is the idea that, hey, this is something that you're working toward, and it may suck really bad right now. But maybe this is still something that you're holding on to and saying, no, I'm gonna do it. This still can be the absolute dream come true for you. Okay? So I feel like you're holding on to this vision, this ideal, and I feel like with a little bit of a shift of perspective and maybe a little bit of letting go of some of the frustration, you know, maybe taking some time for yourself and that sort of thing, trying to have a little bit more fun, not taking things so seriously maybe, right, will allow you to have more of these Six of Cups days, you know, these being able to relax sometimes and enjoy where you are, you know, in between all of the hard work, to really appreciate where you are and feel it and feel good about it in your pursuit of this absolute perfection of life, to have everything that you've always wanted, you know. And maybe this is that house, you know, that's turning out to be a bit of a money trap, and turning out to be one disaster after another. Maybe this goal is still accessible. Okay. But the choice, of course, as always, is yours. We're going to do an extended reading. The link is up top. There's also one down below. New readings for Virgo, Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. All right. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, does not cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.